Our modern age is highly reliable on the creation of satellites. From communications to services like GPS, the world is dependent on these flying technological marvels. Today there are thousands of them orbiting the planet. They are just one item amongst the many which are orbiting the Earth. Space junk, probes, and other technologies circle us constantly. There is one item that is said to have an origin different to all of the other objects up above us. This spacecraft or satellite has come to be known as the Black Knight, and its existence has been covered up by NASA for over 60 years. Something that makes this UFO different from the man-made space objects is its ability to change its orbit, moving around the planet in a non-set pattern, a retrograde orbit. This has led many to speculate that this object is alien in origin and that it monitors the planet. This is where things become even more interesting, as the Black Knight has said to have been observing the Earth for around 13,000 years. Let's take a look. Welcome to IF, videos on history and mystery. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss a video again. The many reports of this satellite describe the object as tumbling slowly in orbit just outside of the planet's atmosphere, constantly making its way around us in a pattern which we cannot predict. Some even claim it has the ability to phase in and out of space and cloak itself. This because the Black Knight is alien technology brought or sent to our solar system some 13,000 years ago. You may ask yourself, 13,000 years ago? How could we know that? At that point in history, mankind was fighting to survive the last years of the Ice Age. We were just forming major settled civilizations. We were far from having the ability of communicating with a distant satellite. We have to jump forward in time to 1899 and a personal hero of mine, Nikola Tesla, the prolific inventor and father of the modern world, well, at least in my eyes, was said to have tapped into a signal which the Black Knight was broadcasting. There is the idea that after this detection, Tesla was given ideas and even designs for some of the more fantastical things he was said to have invented, like his death ray. But we will never know, thanks to the CIA and FBI raiding the hotel where he died and confiscating all of his research. Tesla was publicly open about the radio signal that he had received and spoke of it often at conferences. Tesla explained how he found this signal purely by accident, working at his Colorado Springs laboratory. He had constructed a huge tower. This was going to be used in his experiments to transmit electricity wirelessly. When he began to test and use the tower, he was shocked when he became the first human being to receive a message from the cosmos. Tesla told a reporter, "I have a deep conviction that highly intelligent beings exist on Mars. While experimenting in Colorado, I obtained extraordinary experimental evidence of the existence of life on Mars. I had perfected a wireless receiver of extraordinary sensitivity, far beyond anything known, and I caught signals which I interpreted as meaning 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe the Martians used numbers for communication because numbers are universal." Was this his interpretation of binary code? The man received much ridicule for his story, and he may have been wrong about it being Martians, but at the time, Mars was favored as the place where we would most likely find alien life. This stemming from the idea of the canals on Mars, made popular by the Italian astronomer Giovanni Schiaparelli. We jump forward in time to the 1920s, when these strange signals were once again detected. This time, there was no talk of Martians, and the patterns were thought to be earthly in their origin, but they were extremely unusual. A signal would be received, then a second repeated signal received a few seconds later. This long-delayed echo, LDE, were difficult to explain in terms of radio waves bouncing off of the atmospheric layers. The signals were recorded and shelved, as at that time they defied explanation. Then, in the 1960s, an unusual object was reported to be in polar orbit. This being the height of the Cold War, saw both superpowers having satellites following an equatorial orbit, but a polar orbit was far better. That trajectory meant that the satellite could see every part of the Earth. So you can imagine both sides thought that the other had gained a massive advantage in the monitoring capabilities. Reports of the incident is when the mysterious satellite was given its name, Black Knight. These reports detailed how analysts working for the US Dark Fence radar program had detected an object orbiting above the continental United States. They labeled it a dark satellite. It seemed to be a man-made object in a near-Earth orbit, but wasn't transmitting any detectable signals, or they lacked the technology to receive signals. Remembering the older encounters, signals were always picked up by accident. Or maybe it wasn't an accident. Maybe the Black Knight had chosen to be heard at those times and by those people. The Dark Fence program monitored all known satellite objects, American or Russian or otherwise. The program also was tasked with identifying new objects. This so they could keep tabs on Soviet spy satellites and other space military operations that might have been undertaken over US airspace by communist countries of that time. This was when the Cold War was closest to becoming a hot war. Intelligence was the key to getting the upper hand, and with mutually assured destruction on the table, both sides were overcome with paranoia. This is what made the finding of a strange satellite, this dark satellite, so odd, as it apparently was neither American or Russian. Jumping forward and past the heights of the Cold War, in 1973, Duncan Lunan discovered the records from the 1920s and took it upon himself to investigate them. He plotted the delay times against the order in which the echoes were received. He could create what appeared to be star charts and diagrams of space and what we recognize today as information commonly communicated by a global positioning satellite. Things then went quiet until Project Mercury astronaut Gordon Cooper. Cooper was well known as an astronaut that had no problem reporting some of the stranger things he had witnessed in space. Cooper was a supporter of the idea of alien intelligences being out there in the universe, and even in our own solar system. He told the story of how, on his pioneering Mercury mission into Earth's orbit, he had seen green lights, which he claimed belonged to the Black Knight. His claims were said to be supported by contact indicated by the ground crew's radar. In latter years, Cooper said that this didn't happen, and that his story may have been exaggeration of a passing comment he had once made. To me, it sounds like someone was told to be quiet. This is when the Black Knight began to become more popular with the mainstream. Many people stumbling into the story, taking to their telescopes in the hope they could spot the dark, mysterious space object. In 1998, the crew of the Space Shuttle Orbiter Endeavour photographed an unusual object in low Earth orbit. Many say this was some of the best evidence of the Black Knight. Many more conspiracies began to be reported, these ranging from the crazy to the mundane. Some reports said that the US government had successfully connected to the satellite, and this had enabled them to communicate with an advanced alien species. Some say that this communication was a warning of alien invasion. The more down-to-earth explanation is that it is space junk, and that people are putting the story told by Tesla and others onto an object that is basically garbage. If that is the case, where did the garbage come from? As looking at images, it certainly does not look like something natural, and it wouldn't explain the odd pattern of orbit displayed by the Black Knight. This brings us to today, and sadly a point when all of our questions may never be answered. 2018 and YouTube. It is said that an account was hacked and a video was uploaded which contained footage of the Black Knight satellite being shot down. According to leaked documents, the satellite was taken out using advanced weaponry, an antimatter warhead used to blow the Black Knight out of its orbit. Who gave the order to bring down this extraterrestrial craft is unclear. The video shows the secret aircraft that carried out the attack. It launches the missile, and upon impact, several escape pods are seen being launched out into space. We can only speculate on the reason why they decided the Black Knight satellite needed to be shot down. Was it about to signal extraterrestrials to come to Earth? Was it, as the conspiracies say, a communication device that spied on us and was scouting our planet ahead of an alien invasion? Was the Black Knight satellite monitoring our space for human activity outside of the confines of our planet? An interplanetary alarm warning of our species' travel out into the wider universe? If it was shot down, we will never know. What do you think? Is the Black Knight still up there? This story being a cover to stop Joe Public from looking? Or was it shot down? If it was, why? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy what we do here on the channel, hit that subscribe button, like and share. You can catch the latest by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.